Sure. So I have this little assessment that I invite your listeners to just take. Just take a mental note of. You don't need a pencil or paper or anything like that. And then I'll talk about 3 specific strategies that will really support you with self-care, mindset, and problem solving. Okay, so here it comes. So I have 4 different states on what I call the learning potential scale. What is the learning potential of the students in your class? And this is based on your relationship with the goals for your students and the attention for your students, and their relationship to the goals and intentions, and if they match or if they don't. So it kind of goes in that direction, but it'll become more clear. So the first state is a state that I call dysfunction. And dysfunction means there's very low potential for learning. And by that, I mean optimal learning. You know you're in this state when your students do not participate in discussion, even with prompting. They distract others, they interrupt and disrupt the learning. They oppose ideas and elude responsibility in group work. They avoid apologizing and struggle to empathize, really. They tease and bully, lashing out when angry or frustrated, or they withdraw completely. And you, as the teacher, have little time to support individual students. You do not see real impact for your efforts, and you often feel exhausted and at a loss as to how to improve the situation. So basically, in the state of dysfunction, you're pulling the class along and there's an atmosphere of emotional distrust. The second state is a state I call struggle. Struggle means there is some potential for learning. You know you're in this state when your students get their work done, but often need redirection to use their time wisely. They are intentional in giving their attention to instruction, but they're easily distracted. In this state, students have difficulty controlling their impulses, like they might interrupt a lot, and they struggle to express themselves through writing. And they need you to problem solve relational issues. So you, as the teacher, have very little time to support individual students. You're hopeful that all your efforts will have a greater impact. You're depleted of energy and desperately want more support for your class. So basically, work is getting done in this struggle state, but often to minimum standards. And you're very involved in relational problem solving, especially with group work. The third state is a state I call traction. Traction means there is a mediocre potential for learning. You know you're in this state when your students work well when confined to an assigned seating plan, pay attention and seem to value the learning, completing most assignments, though often to minimum standards. They merely tolerate input from others and prefer to work on their own or with the same friend all the time. The same few students respond to questions and carry discussions. And you, as a teacher, have some time to support individual students and are making some impact, but still have very little energy left at the end of the day. You view the situation as just tolerable. So basically, with a lot of structures in place, most of your students are progressing. Then there's actually a big gap. You have the first 3 states, and then you have the most optimal state, which I'll tell you about, but there's a huge gap in between. The final state is a state I call thriving. Thriving means there is full potential for learning. You know you are in this state when your students display an openness to new ideas, are curious and excited about their learning, even talking about it during their breaks. They follow a thread of conversation and ask follow-up questions while respectfully probing for more information. They continuously make connections to real life as they integrate their learning. Your students nurture relationships while developing their strengths and passions and are motivated to make a difference for others. They constantly set goals, seek feedback, and self-assess. And you as a teacher have time and energy to address needs. You see yourself as a facilitator or a guide on the side most of the time. You're energized and thrilled with your impact on student progress. So basically, your students have a high level of participation, are discovering their strengths and building on them while nurturing their own relationships and seeking to make a difference to others in the world. So those are the 4 states. So as listeners, I'm wondering if you found yourself in one of those states. I know that most teachers find themselves in one of the bottom 3 states. And I also know that most teachers want to be in the optimal state. And that's what I do. I help you to get to a state of thriving. And today I can't wait to share some 3 practical strategies to start you off.